It's good news for hockey fans. The question is how many of them are left.
Thank you. In the U.S., though.
In the U.S., you know that when the rinks open in Edmonton, they'll be full. The Madison Square Garden crowd will come out, but will people show up in Phoenix? Will they show up in Tampa? Will they, show up in a lot of places where they have alternatives to hockey?
Isn't the heart and soul of this, there's too many teams that the southern warm weather expansion's been a failure?
It does seem that's the case. There are a few markets where it's worked. There are a lot of markets where it hasn't worked. That drags down a league that is unable to generate the kind of television revenue that other leagues can.
And the NHL's commissioner, Gary Bettman, who's been vilified certainly over this lockout, that was one of his big pushes, right, to expand the league to some of these other cities, particularly in the United States.
And he has had success in the quality of play. The Tampa Bay Lightning won. The Los Angeles Kings won. The Anaheim Ducks won the Stanley Cup. And yet it hasn't translated into broad-based support for television contracts that pay the kind of money.
But they did have some momentum going into this lockout with NBC Sports Network and Mike Milbury and the others. I thought they did a pretty good job last season of trying to rekindle that TV enthusiasm.
Well, they've been trying to build back up from the last lockout, and it's taken a long time. They do have NBC to rely on. NBC has its own channel it's trying to build out to be competition to ESPN. You got to have sports to do that, and the NHL gives them something to market. That's an advantage to them, but it is still a question.
Well, you have a family member directly involved, right?
My son works for the National Hockey League. Full disclosure, we should mention that.
Yeah.
He works on the internet marketing, and he sells the package to watch the games on the internet to people. We'll see how many people.
So he's employed again today?
He's employed. Yeah,
Fully
he's been employed. But
it's a break exclusive, surveillance exclusive.
Here's a stat that's interesting, though. The lockout contributed to a 14% slump in Canada's sport, performing art and heritage institution category in October to the lowest since the last NHL disruption about 8 years ago.